Fantastic. And if you want to observe me, Creighton, or if you want to fix things as I solo for a bit, don't worry, just you do what you need to do. Because in the bottom left-hand side, playing for Team Alpha X, he is Creighton's teammate, the Polish Protoss player. He's wearing the pink this game. It's ArT.
The pink, that's terrible. How could he? And in the top right-hand side, in the red, it is our other player from Team Liquid. His name is MaNa. Oh man,
Dude,
guys,
Liquid MaNa, one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a famous, storied player, and he's going to be a great player today in this series. I think he's probably favored against ArT, but as we were saying before the broadcast, ArT, of course, a very, very good player. No surprises that he is a competitor in this event. I believe this is the first match for both of these players as well.
It is indeed. You're correct, Creighton.
Yeah.
So, guys, just to clarify, we're on a 2-minute delay still. That game ended seconds after the stream turned off, literally like 2 or 3 seconds. Sputs shaded in, all his adepts disappeared because he was down 2 upgrades, and then he just left the game. You really didn't miss too much. It wasn't a massive fight. It was very, very one-sided. That fight in that position, probably missed 4 or 5 seconds maximum. From what I can see is when it ended, it was just as the shade was about to happen.
Not an explosive fight, nothing exciting. Exactly what you would have expected with a +2 Protoss army against a +0 Protoss army. So apologies for the interruptions, guys, but Grant's internet connection, I think, under stress, as we all are right now. Anyway, we're going to see a proxy out of Liquid MaNa, and he's going to proxy out that Robo. Excellent stuff. This has not been spotted yet by ArT. Does ArT know about it, Grant?
So ArT only now going in for his first scout, I believe. Yeah, he's going in now. He's going to see the third pylon being walked in, but he sees the second pylon is, of course, very, very late, or not there. And it's not going to be very late when you're playing against Team Liquid's MaNa. The Polish Protoss player is going to be good, so he knows he's being proxied. Now, one thing that surprised me is that it was a Robo, because from this position, Stargate is so deadly. It's very, very close, and Oracle can fly in so speedily. That I did expect Stargate, but Proxy Robo is very much the flavor of the month here in PvP, flavor of the year most probably. We should see most likely an Immortal first, followed by a Prism, and then we're going to see some real aggression. ArT has gone for an expansion. ArT knows he's being proxied, and you can see he is looking, but he really hasn't looked in the place where he needs to look just yet.
Yeah, hasn't spotted that proxy yet at all, does not know that it's there. And we're going to see the Stalkers coming across here. They will get spotted by this Hallucinated Phoenix, but the Hallucinated Phoenix will not get into the main base, so we won't see if ArT has if MaNa has anything else going on in that base.
This one Immortal is moving quite aggressively forward without any backup just yet, and there's enough to kill it if it were to walk straight up that ramp alone. There's 2 force fields to trap it to. Okay, MaNa does control that a little bit. I was scared for a moment there. As this one Immortal was actually gonna pop his head up alone. There is a battery here, but the Nexus isn't done, which means no super battery, and that means if MaNa can control this right, he certainly has the ability to do some damage and drain that battery, but it's not going to happen just yet.
Absolutely, he's got a proxy, a Robo of his own coming down, but he's got to buy himself a lot more time here. Luckily, he's got plenty of sentries, and that means that MaNa has got to escape based on the fear of force fields alone.
Yeah, definitely. ArT doing a great job defending here. Now, MaNa's, of course, not done. He's continuing to produce Immortals. He's getting another gateway. His Nexus, though, is nowhere near even beginning. And that means that this economy is going to start favoring the pink Protoss player ArT as time goes on. And MaNa's going to need to make something happen. But if there's anyone in the world in this position I trust to be able to make the chaos happen, it is Liquid's MaNa. He's got one Stalker very, very low right now in the front. He will lose that after one more shot. He's actually managed to keep it alive, seemingly against all odds. The Immortal's very low as well.
That shield battery doing great work at the natural here. Second Immortal coming out from MaNa, but the Warp Prism slightly out of position here. That Immortal going to get... Oh, man, pathing error was very close there. Killing that Immortal down. But luckily, MaNa was able to distract the main base here, moving the Warp Prism out, and look at that, picking up the Immortal, saving it just in time. 6 probe kills here for MaNa. That's exactly the damage he needs to do. And while ArT is distracted at the main base, he's going to drop down to the natural and get that Robo. Oh, no! The force field onto the ramp. Sick plays from Team Liquid's MaNa.
This is what I mean. He just makes chaos happen. The force field onto the Immortal. The Immortal will go down. MaNa has just made magic out of nothing. He was given chicken shit and he made chicken salad because he's killing so many units. Now, it does look like ArT will stabilize, but look at the supply crater. No, there's no way here. ArT, unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out for him. MaNa's so good.
MaNa caught that first Immortal with the force fields as well. These sentries are really working overtime. The Immortal going to try and stand on the ramp here. One Immortal does go down for MaNa, but ArT's going to lose his right away. And ArT should know from here that there's simply no hope. 4 Stalkers against all of this. Now, he did pick off the Warp Prism, but yeah, that's not enough. ArT's going to get the GG, and MaNa is going to grab game number 1.
Yeah, MaNa there. You can't ask for anything more. I really felt like things were slowly falling behind. But it ended up working out absolutely phenomenally. Guys, to clarify, Gung Fu Banda won the last map. It ended very, very, very shortly after the tech issues, literally 3 or 4 seconds. I just got the timing wrong. I was waiting, when I turned my Streamlabs off, it stopped responding. I was waiting to close it, and I got the timing wrong. It's my fault. I'm really sorry. Tell ESL I've been a naughty, naughty boy, and they will spank me.
I'll tweet at you and accuse you of being a terrible caster.
Yes.
I'll make sure that Twitter knows all about it, Grant.
I will too.
Well, game 2 is going to be on Death Aura LE, one of the new maps in the map pool. Grant, we've seen a lot of games on Death Aura now. It seems to be fairly popular with the kids these days. What is it about this map that people love?
I think it's pretty standard. The acceleration zones being the new and exciting feature in this, and it was the first of this. But it's very easy to get the third bases up if you decide to go that way. And it's also pretty straightforward to go into the late game. Rich Vespian geysers mean that if you go into the late game, specifically in PvP, Archons are never really going to be an issue. And I just think generally it's a good balanced map.
Yeah, I agree completely. I'm still getting over like watching units go through the acceleration zone and laughing at how silly they look. That's where I am with Death Aura right now. That's my favorite part of the map.
Yeah,
by far.
Me too. Oh, the god. Okay. So MaNa deciding he's not going to be red this time, he's going to be blue.
That's okay. He can be whatever color he feels inside, Grant.
Yeah, definitely. He's liquid MaNa.
That's right. Well, Grant, if you don't mind, I'll do the observing this game. If you want to follow me, we can try something new. How's that sound?
That sounds exciting. Control Shift 0.
And let's hop straight in. Spawning in the top left-hand side in the pink, representing Alpha X and Poland, it is ArT.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand side of Death Aura, representing Poland also, his countryman playing for Team Liquid, the legendary MaNa. Oh yeah, mappy shit, I like it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So MaNa up to a 1-game lead right now. ArT has got to come back in this somehow. Is it time for him to try a cheese? Is it time for him to try a proxy? Has he got to try something crazy? Or do you think ArT's best bet is to go long game and try and make this work?
I think no matter what happens, ArT has to survive what MaNa does, because MaNa is an aggressor. I've said this about Liquid MaNa for many years. He thrives in chaos. StarCraft is a game where missing information is key, and MaNa makes it so you never have any information, and then he does something that doesn't make sense anyway. But he makes it work because he has incredible micro, and he's so offbeat and off pace that he's just a great player. You saw in that last game, how many times do you see someone force field out units in the main these days? It's one of those things that happens on ladder, but in pro games, not so often. But MaNa manages to make that happen, and then he immediately traps an Immortal, and he's just so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Proxy Pylon has been dropped, of course, by ArT in the top side of the map here, but he's not going to proxy any tech there. I think it's just to psych out MaNa a little bit. Now, MaNa has not managed to get into the main base yet. He's going to try and sneak a probe up here, and the Stalkers won't be out in time, so we will get a full read. We'll see if there's only one pylon on the main base, and that should start MaNa on the search, on the hunt for what he's missing. He knows that second probe is way too late, or that second pylon, rather, is way too late, right? He must know that timing.
Yeah, so this is actually just a fake proxy here from ArT, of course. He's not putting anything down there. There is no probe over there in order to do so. So he is just trying to fake it out when in fact he is playing very normal. This may lead MaNa, as we said, to start scouting everywhere. That's just one probe that isn't mining. Oh no. Oh no. MaNa. Do you see what I see? Oh, he wasn't. Okay. I thought that probe was trapped. But he wasn't. Nope. Everything was good.
Nah, he's good, man. Those probes are so svelte these days. They're so aerodynamic.
Yeah.
They can slip through any little crack they need to.
Stargate down for Liquid MaNa at home, and he is going to expand.
Yeah, I like that a lot from MaNa.
Yeah.
We saw Stargate, of course, in some of our previous games today. It's just a very efficient opener. And since ArT is going Robo, this is a lot like our first series of the day, right? Where we saw that proxy Robo. Of course, the first series was proxied. But where we saw Robo against Stargate. And the Stargate units are just so powerful. 4 Phoenix can do incredible damage. We saw, who was in our first game that went 4 Phoenix? Gung Fu.
It was... Gung Fu,
yeah, Gung Fu went 4 Phoenix and just showed how effective that is against Robo. A little supply block here from MaNa, but that should be cleared up not pretty quickly, actually. Just building a very late pylon. Wow, that's a mistake. How did MaNa get so badly supply blocked?
I don't know. I think if I'm MaNa right now, I'm probably cancelling the Adept that's building out of the gateway, because Warp Gate's finished anyway, and letting the Stargate unit finish. No way MaNa goes in there, okay. But he didn't do so. He did let the Adept finish. He is now broken that supply block, but it's just a small mistake here from MaNa. His timing may be a little off. It's not necessarily a big problem. He is still producing the Stargate units, but this has been scouted by ArT, which is very nice. MaNa is going to be able to deal with that proxy pylon as well. Can send up a few of his own bad boys up there, because the pylons are too close to one another. You can't have that. They're magnetic. They push each other away.
Is that true? That the pylons are magnetic and they fight each other?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, the Adepts are going to take them as that pylon. Natural's down for both players now, but MaNa slightly ahead in the worker count here, 30 to just 29 of his opponent, and both players cranking out double upgrades. Or oh my gosh, not double upgrades. No upgrades on the other side of the map. Cranking out double probes right now. MaNa finally adding on a Robo of his own, but his Adept's going to get into the Natural. No, going to cancel that Shade. And the Oracle pushed away as well. A decent defense here from ArT, who's left some Stalkers back home just to stay safe.
Yeah, this has been very good from ArT so far. This is what MaNa wants to do. This is how he's going to create chaos. He is going to hit in 2 or 3 locations at once. Now this is a little bit scarier, because this is enough Adepts to do a lot of damage, and MaNa can afford to lose a few of them. But watch what the Oracle does. Now the Oracle, he's still being pushed away. Very nice. 7 workers. If he gets all of these Adepts, that's fantastic.
That was great. He traded, 3 Adepts there for a total of 8 probes now in this entire game. And you're right, I think he did want to move that Oracle into the main base. Wasn't able to get it done, though. And still getting massive damage done in that Natural. The overcharge was used on that shield battery, so he won't have that available for a little while longer now. It's still about halfway done before it's re-energized. And yeah, a great engagement there from MaNa. He's going to move that Oracle back into the main and try and get some more kills here. Look at MaNa go. He's just firing on all cylinders this game.
And I'd say using that shield battery overcharge was a mistake, because you did see how many Adepts there were, and they're always going to one-shot probes. 2 of them will one-shot probes, shield battery overcharge or not. If they hit at the exact same time, there is no time for that to happen. The double Oracle now being a real nuisance. You can see MaNa has already killed 13 probes this game, and that's the difference. You can see right now, MaNa currently up 15 workers. He's getting extra gateways, he's getting immortals, he's got +1 on the way, and a Twilight Council. So MaNa behind this is going to be a greedy boy, knowing he's done some damage.
And I think that's the right call. You know, you got a couple options here when you're trying to oh, that's hallucinated Phoenix. Okay, I was worried those oracles were just hanging out, eating damage there. MaNa has a couple choices now, right? When you're ahead, get more ahead. But there are several ways to do that. Adepts into the main, by the way, will get chased off. Only 3 more probe kills, but the number just continues to increase. But there are a couple ways for MaNa to get more ahead here in this game. He could, of course, expand to a 3rd location and take a 3rd base and try and win economically. But he's already done so much economic damage that I feel like he knows his income is just way ahead of his opponent. I mean, look at that income advantage graph. Almost 750 resources a minute ahead for MaNa right now. So I think he doesn't need to grab a 3rd base. He's doing the right thing by investing in tech, by investing in infrastructure, and setting himself up for a push here in 2 or 3 minutes to really just overwhelm ArT. Maybe hope that ArT tries to grab a 3rd base and be a bit greedy and take him by surprise?
Yeah, I think so. I think right now MaNa is definitely firing on cylinders. He has no concerns in the world right now, and that's very, very good for him. As long as he can keep this going, he'll be feeling great. He is continuing to add on production in terms of more and more gateways. You can see that Templar Archives finishing +2 is already on the way, which is a very, very nice thing to have coming. In terms of, you can see the extra minerals and gas coming in right now for MaNa. He's mining a couple of 100 extra minerals already. Now, ArT does have a third on the way, but upgrades are just so huge. We saw it in the last game how substantial. Well, me and Creighton saw it in the last game how substantial upgrades are. And MaNa's going to be so massively ahead. And look at the Immortal count as well, 3-1, and Archon already. The Oracle's still alive, both of them. They're being constantly tracked, sure, but they're going to offer so much in a fight. Stasis wards, dashing in as a fight happens in the middle of the map. Revelations to keep track of movement. They offer so much utility now, as well as kill pressure, that I think MaNa's just in such a great spot.
Yeah, now I love that as soon as he scouted out that ArT had that third base, MaNa grabbed one as well. It's not that he needs a third base, but he does want to maintain parity with ArT right now. One of the ways that ArT could come back into this game is like a secret third base, whereas MaNa didn't grab one. And that might allow him to crank up his probe production and get that third base saturated, maybe find some way to take an income advantage, but really, MaNa tracking him, measuring him, marking him, and getting that third Nexus finished up in time. MaNa is in, I mean, there's no other way to say it, Grant. MaNa is in complete control of this game. Yeah,
definitely. Now, that's not to say that ArT is dead and it's over and we're going to be really anticlimactic. ArT has plenty coming for him. He still has +1 upgrade. He's getting Zealot legs to catch up with MaNa in that regard. He's making a lot of units. He can catch up, but he needs time, and he needs to possibly find some damage or not take any more. One good fight from ArT turns it. PvP, it can all be about, if we were to get to that stage, one disruptor shot. A couple of Archons not being in the fight because there's too many Zealots blocking for them, or it's a tight angle. So ArT's okay. He's not dead. He has plenty of fight left. More gas in the tank for the Madman. But
Absolutely.
He really needs some probes.
He really does. He's cut probe production, not saturating this third base up. I think he's just moving probes over from the main and the natural as they get oversaturated a little bit. And he's not making any more right now, but neither is MaNa. But MaNa, of course, fully saturated his third already, and mining at a much more reasonable rate from his natural and his main. So the income advantage, again, still in MaNa's favor here. The third base finished up for ArT, driving him into the lead just a little bit. But look at this, Grant. MaNa moving out now with this very, very scary Protoss army. He's got Archons, he's got Immortals, he's got a Warp Prism, he's got Charge Lots, he's got Sentries, he's got a Partridge in a Pear Tree. Everything he possibly needs to take this fight, and I don't know if ArT's going to be ready for it.
This is very frustrating for ArT because he's so close to beginning disruptor production. If this fight was even 1 minute later, he'd be feeling a little bit more confident here. But MaNa is he's biding his time a little bit, and that's nice. No, now MaNa's going to go for it. You can see ArT's +2 will be done in time for the fight. It is just 10 seconds away and counting. See, this is what I mean about these stasis wards. You cannot fight into this now. Charge Zealots charge in, and you get like 10 of them stasis. The army just walks past and kills you.
Yeah, absolutely. They were a little bit weak stasis wards from MaNa, but look at this. MaNa's doing such a smart move. Oh, MaNa, big stasis ward catches those Zealots. Exactly what you had said earlier. Even one of the Archons getting stasis as well. Wow. But behind this, MaNa is moving into the natural mineral line. He's carving up probes left and right. Even if this fight doesn't go massively in MaNa's favor, which it is, because that stasis ward is just murder, he's going to pick off the natural. He's going to pick off those probes, and that is going to be a very easy Game 2 win